You're 25. You just checked your bank account. Zero saved, zero invested, nothing. You feel like you're already behind everyone else. That's what your $0 turned into if you start one specific habit today and stay till the end. The very last number I show you is the one that actually changes what you do the second the video ends. Being 25 with nothing saved is not rare. It's normal. Most people your age are exactly where you are right now. Juggling rent, maybe some debt, definitely no six-figure investment account. I was one of them. That's honestly why I made this. I'm not a financial expert. I just got obsessed with one question. What actually happens if you start from zero right now? So I sat down and ran the real numbers. That's this video. You're not behind. You just have not started the clock. So let's start it. Now I already know what some of you are thinking. Cool story, but I don't make enough to invest $500 a month. And that's fair. Completely fair. So hold that thought. Because later in this video, I'll show you exactly what happens if you can only manage to invest $200 or $300 a month instead. In spoilers, it still works. This is not an all or nothing plan. Let's start with the main scenario, $500 a month, about $16 a day, going to a simple, low-cost index fund instead of your checking accounts. That's roughly the cost of one food delivery order you barely remember making, plus one forgotten subscription quietly charging you every single month. No trading, no trying to time the market, no gambling on crypto, just putting money in every single month, staying consistent, and letting time do the heavy lifting for you. Let's fast forward and see what that simple habit actually turns into. Because when you keep showing up month after month, the numbers start getting seriously interesting. This is the part that actually made me stop the calculator and double check what I just typed, because the number on the screen was honestly hard to believe. Picture a snowball sitting on top of a hill. Small. Honestly, kind of pathetic. You give it a push and it starts rolling faster and faster. It turns out that's basically what happens to your money. It's not just growing from what you add each month, it's also growing from everything it's already earned. It's growing from what it earned last year, which grows on top of what it earned the year before that, and then that growth starts earning more growth too. I did not believe it until I watched the curve myself. That tiny, annoying snowball keeps rolling, and 40 years later, it's not a snowball anymore, it's an avalanche. Starting with year one, your balance is only a few $1,000s. It's pretty underwhelming, and honestly, it might even feel a bit annoying. By about a year and a half, you've already crossed your first 10,000. It's a small milestone, but now you can actually see the snowball starting to pick up speed. It feels like a real milestone, but at this point, most of the growth is just you, your own contributions doing the heavy lifting still. Years 2, 3, and 4, still not exciting. You're putting money in every month, but the growth still feels painfully slow. The chart looks basically like a straight line going up. Nothing dramatic yet, just steady, boring progress that does not look like much. And this is the part where most people give up, because the account does not really feel like it's working yet. You're putting in money, but the results still look pretty small. Around 6.5 years in, you hit $50,000. Now the number finally starts to feel real. But this is where things are about to get much more interesting. In around 10.5 years in, you finally hit your first $100,000. That's the moment where the snowball starts feeling like it has a life of its own. That first 100,000 took the longest out of any 100,000 that you'll ever earn. And that's not a coincidence. It's exactly what compounding is designed to do. In the early years, most of the growth is simply your own money. The compounding has not caught up yet. But now, that's about to change. Watch what happens next. Your second $100,000 going from 100K to 200K takes less than 6 years. Suddenly, the same money is growing much faster than before. Almost twice as the first 100,000. Same strategy, same monthly contributions, but now your money is doing more of the heavy lifting. At the 10-year mark, you've got about $91,500. You personally put in $60,000 of that. The rest, about $31,500, came from your money growing. The rest is just growth. In 20 years in, at 45 years old, you're sitting on about $294,500, and now the growth is doing a lot more of the heavy lifting. You've contributed $120,000, but the growth has already added more than that on top of it. Your money is now making almost as much money as you put in. 30 years in, at 55, you're at about $745,200. You put in $180,000 of that. The rest is just growth. Growth built the other $565,000. That's more than 3 times what you actually put in. 40 years in at 65, $1,750,000 that you made. You've put in only $240,000 of that. The rest is growth. Somewhere around age 58, still just contributing that same $500 a month, nothing fancier, you cross the $1 million. Not from a bonus, not from luck, just from staying consistent, from $16 a day and time. Now here's a realistic upgrade. Most people don't just make $500 a month forever, they get raises. So what if you increased your contribution by just 3% every year, roughly tracking a normal raise? And by 65, instead of having $1,750,000, you'd have $2,468,000. An extra $720,000, and you'd barely notice the increases, because they never outpace your actual raise. Now let's answer the objection from earlier. What if $500 a month just isn't realistic for you right now? At $300 a month, about $10 a day, you still cross the $1 million by 65. The exact number matters less than you think. What matters is that you start the clock. You can always increase the amount later, but you cannot get back the years that you did not start. Now here's the part that should actually get to you a little. What if you wait, not forever, just 10 years, you start this exact same plan at 35 instead of 25? By 65, starting at 25 gets you $1,750,000. Starting at 35 gets you $745,000. You only skipped a quarter of the timeline, but it cost you over $1 million, more than half of everything. That's the real cost of I'll start later. Real life happens. What if you lose your job for 2 years and cannot contribute? Let's say it happens between years 5 and 7, then you get back on track. By 65, instead of the $1,750,000, you'd have $1,565,000. This plan is not fragile, it's forgiving. The real risk is giving up. I'm not a financial advisor, I just got curious and opened the calculator. 8% is a long term average, not a promise. Markets go up and down. This is just a simplified example, not an advice. But the principle is simple. Start early and stay consistent. That part is just math. I just ran the numbers to see where it leads. So you're 25 with $0. That's not a life sentence. It's your starting line. Wait 1 year and you could lose about $139,500 by 65. The only real mistake is not starting with nothing. It's still having nothing years from now, because you never started. So what is actually that you're going to do today? If this got you thinking, drop your age and your number in the comments, and I'll read them.